Why are we so afraid that human beings can't decipher for themselves what to believe and what not to? This isn't the first time there's been alternative publications spouting news that went against the establishment. You get to do that in America.
Oh no, what's this about? An alternative publication spouting news that goes against the establishment has been censored? I didn't hear about this. As a fan of alternative news and publications, this sounds very concerning. I'm gonna watch more.
Spouting news that went against the establishment. You get to do that in America. You get to say, I remember the biggest fake news story of the Washington Post published was that Saddam has weapons of mass destruction. That wasn't just some jagoff in the Washington Post. That was their editorial board saying that. So again,
Yep, the lies and confusion and just downright corruption to do with the issue of Iraq caused many, many, many deaths and decades-long war, which resulted in destabilization of the Middle East, and some say the creation of ISIS. And it was a fucking clusterfuck. Total disaster. The Washington Post really screwed the pooch on that. Don't know what that's got to do with anything else, but maybe this will be connected into the topic.
This is not a slippery slope. We've already slipped. Once you ban anybody, you're there.
You're where?
Right? They've already suppressed us. They're doing that right now.
Us? Who? You've been suppressed. Wait, or have I been suppressed? Who are we talking about? Who has been suppressed?
And now they're just going to go to full-out banning.
Oh no, who are they banning? I hope it's not David Pakman. I hope it's not Kyle Kulinski. I hope it's not even Jimmy Dore.
So let's get back to this article. We'll finish it about Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
And I want you to rise up and get fired up and get angry and just start grinding your teeth and just get mentally ready. But if they keep pushing, we're going to take them. And I mean take them savage. I mean run them down. I mean take their heads and just ram them into the concrete. When their heads just bust open. Just crush them. You know what I'm talking about. Just bite big, huge, bloody chunks right out of them. Nothing can stop us. The jig's up. Everybody knows who you are now, New World Order. And a lot of us aren't going to make it through this, and I know that, and I'll be frank with you. I'm mad that you've ruined my life, you pieces of filth, but I can't back off from you, and I never am!
Spouting news.
Maybe it's not the Alex Jones of InfoWars. Maybe it's a different Alex Jones. I'll keep an open mind.
This is from Vox. It says, so far, Jones is still a verified Twitter user and multiple accounts related to various InfoWars productions remain active. Twitter has reportedly issued a statement that Jones accounts do not violate its content policies.
Wait, so what's the backstory here? Oh, Alex Jones of InfoWars.com, a man who said that the yogurt company Chobani Yogurt was purposefully importing rapists and then had to read out on air that the statements that he said were false and defamed the company.
The owner, who we'll get to in a moment, the Mr. Hamid Ulukaya, wants me to apologize for my fake news, correct everything, pay them a bunch of damages. I mean, okay. Muslims never raped anybody in the history of the world, and they never committed a sin or a crime, and they're perfect, and there's no rapes in Sweden, and no rapes in Germany, and no crime, and the refugees aren't bringing in TB. Oh, yeah, I'm being sued for that. I have the CDC and a stack of mainstream news about TB exploding, including in the town where his factory's based, where they brought in the refugees. And he's suing me for that. I've talked to my lawyers. This is a dream.
During the week of April 10th, 2017, certain statements were made on the InfoWars Twitter feed and YouTube channel regarding Chobani LLC that I now understand to be wrong. The tweets and video have now been retracted and will not be reposted. On behalf of InfoWars, I regret that we mischaracterized Chobani, its employees, and the people of Twin Falls, Idaho, the way we did.
Alternative publications spouting news that went against the establishment
was banned from YouTube. And Alex Jones, the man who said Sandy Hook families were crisis actors.
I don't know exactly what happened. Sandy Hook's inconclusive.
For years, Alex Jones was the most powerful voice behind a disturbing conspiracy theory that the Sandy Hook shooting was a massive hoax.
They've got, in one shot, leaves blowing and flowers that are out, and you see the leaves blowing, and they go, They glitch. They're recycling a green screen behind them.
A theory that Leonard Posner and Veronique De La Rosa say turned their lives upside down. Their 6-year-old son, Noah, was killed during the mass shooting in 2012. Ever since, they say they've been harassed, the abuse so bad they've had to move 7 times. Now, they're suing Jones for defamation. His lawyers are asking the judge to dismiss the case. De La Rosa spoke to CNN about the lawsuit in April.
If there's a choice that's made over a relentless period of years to peddle falsehoods and to profit from them, then there has to be a day of reckoning.
In the lawsuit, De La Rosa and Posner say Jones's comments have caused them a severe degree of mental stress and anguish, which have disrupted their daily routine and caused a high degree of psychological pain. Jones discussed his controversial views with Megyn Kelly last year.
What do you do when they've got the kids going in circles in and out of the building with their hands up? I've watched the footage, and it looks like a drill.
The mother of one slain first grader wrote on Twitter that harassment from people like Jones had been too much, so having to cope with that trauma on top of their children being killed has also been banned from Facebook. And Alex Jones, who day after day after day said that a pizza parlor was hosting a child rape ring, resulting in one of his followers going there with a gun and attempting to kill people.
You want us to cover Pizzagate? We have covered it. We are covering it. And all I know is God help us. We're in the hands of pure evil. I love how the fake news is saying we're fake news. And they're specifically crapping themselves over Pizzagate. And their answer is to say it's all fake. Pizzagate, as it's called, is a rabbit hole that is horrifying to go down. Now, if you're a radio listener, this is a powerful video, but I've had it reposted. This is on Infowars.com. Pizzagate is real. The only question is, what exactly is it? Let's go ahead and go to the report. Pizzagate is real. The question is, how real is it? What is it? Something's going on. Something's being covered up. Kids being, I can't even say it on air, folks. The video, we're going to tweet it out with Breitbart's statement on Infowars.com dealing with Pizzagate. You know, people want me to look into it. I may just have to take off a week and just only research this and actually go to where these places are and stuff. In fact, I'm looking at getting on a plane. I just like Bohemian Grove and stuff. I can't just say something and not see it for myself. They go to these pizza places. There's like satanic art everywhere. There's art of these people where they're shoving children into women's vaginas. I went to the FBI site. I went and looked it all up. And people ask, well, why weren't you on this earlier? We were on it from the beginning. We've been on it the last couple of weeks since the election. But we're fighting on hundreds of fronts here. So I've seen this criticism that we're not covering Pizzagate enough, even though we covered it every day.
28-year-old Edgar Welch was arrested in Washington Sunday afternoon outside Comet Ping Pong, a popular family pizza parlor. D.C. police say Welch fired at least one round into the restaurant floor with an AR-15 rifle like this one on his Facebook page. No one was injured. Police say Welch drove all the way from North Carolina to self-investigate Pizzagate, a fictitious online conspiracy theory. Court documents say Welch read online that the Comet restaurant was harboring child sex slaves and he was armed to help rescue them. He surrendered peacefully when he found no evidence that underage children were being harbored in the restaurant.
Now, why do you think Twitter is still sticking by principle? Why do you think that, Ron?
Twitter is sticking to principle. They're sticking to the principle that the families of children who were massacred should be harassed as much as possible because fuck them, right? It's all just opinion we disagree with. It's got nothing to do with spreading such extreme lies that they traumatize massacre victims. It's got nothing to do with a deranged, psychotic, bloated individual continuously saying that there's going to be a civil war and that people should cling to their guns and that violence is a solution and the way that you should deal with things is by smashing people's heads into the concrete and destroying them and killing them because they are coming for your freedom and you've got to fight and you have to buy the fucking supplement pills because the frogs are turning gay interdimensionally. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with an attack on us. You got to remember that the Washington Post lied about Iraq, so it's okay. It's independent media spouting news according to Jimmy fucking idiot Dore.
No, I see what you're saying. Facebook is more, well, and that's kind of why we're having this discussion. You know, people are all of a sudden defending Facebook's corporate personhood just because it involves someone they don't like.
Yes.
I don't really know what this show is. I haven't watched it that much, but is this just a show where people who never disagree with Jimmy Dore just come on to agree with his stupid points and then add stupid points on top of his stupid points? Because I haven't seen a single person defend Facebook's personhood because of Alex Jones. Who said that? Anybody? Where is it? It sounds like you made that up, to be honest.
And, you know, when I said I think Facebook should be following the First Amendment at this point because of how big they are.
Okay, well, you think they should be following the First Amendment because of how big they are. Opinion noted. But the test of whether you follow the First Amendment is not how big you are. No, they would actually have to be bought into government control in some way. The public would have to have a stake in Facebook in terms of they pay taxes and that goes into maintaining and regulating Facebook as a public utility. But that's not the case, so that's just what you wish was the case. It's not what is the case. In case you missed the First Amendment, it reads simply, Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or of abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So it's entirely about what the government is not allowed to do to restrict or abridge speech. Now, maybe there is a legal precedent that says when a company is a certain size or has a certain amount of control, that it's automatically seen as a restriction of your fundamental freedom of speech rights to not be able to express yourself on that specific platform. If there is such a precedent, I do not know of that. If a smart YouTube commenter is aware of such a thing, please comment down below.
A lot of people responded saying how despicable Alex Jones is. And look, and I was like, look, we don't disagree on that.
Right.
I don't like Alex Jones. I strongly disagree with pretty much everything he stands for.
Standing for saying that the Sandy Hook families were crisis actors and them being harassed and re-traumatized for that, and defaming a yogurt company and defaming a pizza joint owner to the point that his life was put in danger, and spreading lie after lie after lie after lie after lie after lie about individuals and miming, killing Robert Mueller.
I look at that guy and he's a sack of crap. That's a demon I will take down or I'll die trying. So that's it. It's gonna happen. We're gonna walk out the square politically at high noon, and he's gonna find out when he makes a move, man. Make the move first, and then it's gonna happen. It's not a joke. It's not a game. It's the real world. Politically, you're gonna get it, or I'm gonna die trying, bitch.
And you're saying you strongly disagree with that. Well, if you strongly disagreed with that, why are you advocating for him propagating such things on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook? No, you're saying you're fine with that. You're saying that is okay. He should be free to do that as much as he likes. You don't care about the people who are the weakest in this equation, which is these victims and families, and lives being put in danger by the fact that Alex Jones is fomenting violence day after day after day against his political opponents, glorifying violence as much as he possibly can, and always just pulling back slightly or having some sort of caveat just so that he avoids getting himself in trouble.
You're gonna be a girl if you're a boy, or a boy if you're a girl. And we're putting chemicals in the water to help with everything. And it's gonna get a lot easier from here on out to bring down this third dimension down to us. We're gonna destroy you. You will ascend to hell in the reverse order.
Spouting news.
Oh, I get it. Oh, you're so enlightened. You're so powerful. You're weak. We've been asleep, and now we're awake, and now you can feel the Spirit of Christ re-entering the planet as you panic. And all of your, look how weak and slovenlish and pathetic and chicken-necked all their servants are. Sucked, soul-sucked fallen slaves. But behind them is always the Draculas. And they now know fear. Because we're coming like the villagers in the night with the torches burning bright with fire. Fire is not the weapon of evil. Fire is the weapon of good, and it will consume you. Yes. Yes, you don't have to fear your God. You need to fear God. Your God has stolen your soul. Your God took away the key that you gave it, and now you stare into the fathomless depths of eternal phantom zone destruction, and you want to take as many children with you down that hole as you can so you can clutch their souls as you fall towards the dark heart of that black hole. Soon the icy cold of hell will embrace you forever. Soon you will pass through and on, never to return to this dimension, never to ascend, but down, 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 down into that black hole you're going, chained. And by the way, you think God's going to let you get all those kids? That's why you try to corrupt them so early? You're not going to be even able to do that. Many of the children you've abused will be the strongest people ever that will turn against you and bring you down. Because from the foundations of the earth, you are losers, and you are always to be there to test the righteous.
Alternative publications spouting that went against the establishment.
You were saying he should not be banned from these platforms for doing these things, so stop fucking lying. You do agree with what he stands for because your rhetoric and the things that you're standing up for, which is the powerful person in this equation, Alex Jones, and not the people that he's actually caused harm to, shows that you're a fucking liar.
However, if he is going to get banned off a platform, I would rather that be decided in a First Amendment courtroom.
And Jimmy Dore's like, right, yeah, me too. So we're all agreed. We all think it should be this way. You know, is anyone going to bother pointing out that it's not that way? No, just going to mislead the audience and pretend like that is what the situation is when it's not. All agreed. We're the aggressive progressives, guys.
Right. And not just by some standards that Mark Zuckerberg and his ilk
can
wrote.
change on at the drop of a hat.
And be interpreted however. I mean, you know,
but we're not talking about a reasonable opinion. We're not talking about a different point of view that's being censored here. We are talking about dangerous speech. Oh, dangerous speech that hurts your feelings and stuff. You know, like, this guy's running a child rape ring. Oh, you're so offended just because you kept saying he was raping children. Grow up, snowflake. It was all freedom of speech. He should have just debated Alex Jones as to whether he was running a child rape ring. How about I set up a website, jimmydoreasapedophile.com, and we can just have a debate about that, you know? One-on-one, face me, Jimmy Dore, we'll talk about whether you're a pedo. And we'll just have a whole range of debates about that. And I'll say, I think Jimmy Dore is a pedo because A, B, and C. And you can say, well, I disagree. I think I'm not a pedo because A, B, and C. And we'll have, how about 10 of these debates? What do you think? And we'll see if by the end of that you've debunked me, and all of the people that come to my website, jimmydoreasapedo.com, will be like, ha, well, Jimmy Dore already refuted this, so it's fine, just leave it up. Send it to his friends, send it to his family, send it everywhere, and Jimmy will just refute it, because the only solution to jimmyisapedophile.com is, I disagree, Jimmy's not a pedophile.com. And we can just have a big debate about it, and Jimmy Dore will be very happy about that, I think.
I'm not saying the First Amendment is a completely flawless, you know, piece of verbiage either. I mean, nothing is.
Catch-22 is pretty good, though.
Ron, let me ask you, are you, you on principle, you stand up for the First Amendment, yes?
I think it's pretty solid, yeah.
Why are you liking Alex Jones?
Yes, that's what you're reading all over the place right now. All the comments
Thank you for rehashing my timeline from yesterday.
So wait a minute, so you're standing up for principle, for First Amendment rights for everybody.
Yes.
Why are you defending Alex Jones?
Putin told me it was the right thing to do.
No, yeah, you know what? You and that Jimmy Dore, I'm done with both of you.
I don't know if Jimmy Dore is purposefully misleading his audience here. At least the other guy had the honesty to say, I wish it was like this, but Jimmy Dore just goes all out that it is all just about the First Amendment. Maybe it's not dishonesty. Maybe it's something else. I don't know what else it could be. Pretending like it is just all about the First Amendment in this situation, and it has nothing to do with the fact that Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube are, in fact, private companies who have a terms of service that people actually agree to and which they can read. Now, I understand that these companies are too powerful and people actually need some recourse. Maybe when they sign the TOS, it's not ideal for them. They just want to go on that website because it's the biggest and best way of getting their words and brand and information out there. So they compromise, and then they don't feel like they have enough rights when those are trampled on just within the closed system of the YouTube sphere, Twitter sphere, etc. But those concerns and issues to do with excessive corporate power in owning the means of social media is still not explicitly a First Amendment issue. So Jimmy Dore is just blatantly misleading. This so-called progressive program is putting out such misinformation about the situation.
The way to debunk Alex Jones isn't to suppress his speech. That makes him a martyr. It actually lifts him up and makes more people interested in what he has to say. And then all his accusations of the establishment suppressing him ring true because it actually is happening. This antidote for bad speech in a free, open society is not suppression of that speech. The antidote to bad speech in a free and open society is more speech. That's how you combat Alex Jones.
I like that he said bad speech, because that destroys his argument. To me, bad speech would be things like fraud, defamation, death threats, calling a bomb threat. That's pretty bad speech. Tell people over and over that a pizzeria owner runs a child sex ring. That's very bad speech. And then Jimmy Dore is like, for this really bad speech, which is not free speech, because free speech is not about defrauding and defaming and actually specifically putting people in danger through lies. Free speech is saying things that actually challenge people in power. Yeah, Alex Jones, the guy who lives inside Donald Trump's warm ass cavity, he's the guy fighting the establishment. Freedom of speech is for saying things that other people don't like, absolutely, that they really fucking hate, because it's just so offensive and so mean and so horrible, but it is not for spreading extreme lies that put people in danger. That's not what it's for.
Kyle Kulinski does video after video. Cenk Uygur does video after video debunking the stuff that Alex Jones says. That's how you fight against Alex Jones. You don't all of a sudden start saying, well, I have a secret group of billionaire, Silicon Valley billionaires, and they're going to decide what's actually free speech and what's not. They're going to protect us.
The majority of us don't run a humongous propaganda network that flagrantly breaks the terms of service constantly on those websites. So we don't have as much to worry about as Alex Jones, but we do have plenty to worry about in terms of corporate overreach and then deciding which views are palatable and so forth. I just don't think it applies in this case. And I've never seen like David Pacman, Kyle Kulinski, Cenk Uygur, even Jimmy Dore cross those bounds where they just say, this guy's running a child rape ring, look at him. It's made up, but look at him. Look, that guy. These specific families are crisis actors. Look at him. These people. I haven't seen anything like that from you. I've just seen you being an idiot sometimes and just making up wacky conspiracies that don't really harm anybody, but are stupid.
When I grew up and I was trying to tell, I don't know who I was telling, I think Dan, the producer, that when I was a kid, everybody used to freak out over the National Enquirer. Freak out over the National, wanted it banned from supermarkets. Johnny Carson, when everyone in the country used to watch that show, used to stop his show and talk about the National Enquirer and how bad it was and how we should get rid of it. And here we are today. Nobody's talking about the National Enquirer. They have Facebook pages. They have Twitter accounts. So the World News Daily, they have nobody. So what else are you going to start banning?
Nobody's talking about the National Enquirer because they're talking about InfoWars. InfoWars is much, much worse than the National Enquirer. So your example of like, oh, the National Enquirer used to be the thing that was so bad, but then everyone debunked that, no one cares about it anymore, ignores the fact that the speech has actually gotten a lot worse, hasn't it? The dialogue has gotten a lot worse. Other websites have come along which are way, way worse. While people were debunking the National Enquirer, other shit was coming along that was tremendously worse than that. So they did the National Enquirer phase, people like debunked that, now it's in the InfoWars phase. What is the next phase? Maybe it's like, we will be debunking a group of people who come to your workplace and scream at you that you are a rapist in front of all your co-workers, and you have to try to debunk them and stuff. I'm even struggling to come up with something more extreme than InfoWars, because it's just gotten absurd, it's getting so ridiculous now. What is worse? What is gonna be the worst thing? I literally can't think of something.
What is fake news?
InfoWars is fake news. It's the fakest fucking fake news of all time.
Because I'll tell you, the biggest fake news story of my lifetime was Iraq possesses weapons of mass destruction.
So why do you want more fake news? Why? Because the mainstream media lied about weapons of mass destruction, causing hundreds and thousands of deaths. We should have more lies. That's what we should have. How is this a fucking argument? Why don't we just say, you know what, Jimmy? We needed to have more lies by the Washington Post. Washington Post should have lied more. Not just about Iraq. Maybe they should have lied about Iran. Maybe they should have lied about Russia. Maybe they should have lied about everything all the time and get into as many fucking wars as they possibly could, because the only way to defeat this bad speech is with more speech. And we don't even care if that speech is bad. If that speech is just more bad speech, good, because we do not care about the quality of any speech at all.
That was the biggest fake news propaganda story in the history of my life. Should the Washington Post be deplatformed then because they posted fake news? You know, we just did a story a few weeks ago on the Jimmy Dore Show. Facebook took down a newspaper's Facebook page because the newspaper for the 4th of July posted the Declaration of Independence. And they took it down because of hate speech inside the Declaration of Independence. That's a fact. That happened.
I understand why he's using this example, because he's like saying, this is the slippery slope. But the byproduct of that is that you are completely whitewashing and you are just totally sanitizing and ignoring throughout this entire video anything Alex Jones has ever done or ever said. He never even mentions a single thing that Alex Jones has ever done. The video is called The Case for Not Banning Alex Jones, but if you watch this video, you'd have no idea who Alex Jones is. You'd just think he's an independent journalist who just says his honest political opinion, which challenges those in power, and whose lies are nowhere near as made up and line-ness-full as the mainstream media saying that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. Well, I'm sorry, something is either completely made-up bullshit propaganda or it isn't. And both of them are completely bullshit made-up propaganda. They don't magically cancel each other out.
So that's the world we're living in right now. The antidote to bad speech is not suppression of that speech. The antidote to bad speech is more speech.
You've not been saying in this video that the antidote to bad speech is more speech. You've been saying that the antidote to bad speech is more bad speech. As much bad speech as possible. And it's a fucking stupid point to make.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this clip.
I did not fucking enjoy this clip.
There's a whole hour and a half of aggressive progressives waiting for you at the Young Turks Network. Become a member and get access to all the content.
I prefer not to at this time.